Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of App Inventor. I'm still App Inventor tutor, Ijoma. So today we are going to be creating an app known as Quiz App. Okay, so let's dive into it. All right, project goals. So this is what we're going to achieve today. We're going to create a list of questions and answers, display multiple choice buttons for each questions. Then we'll keep an update user score, check user responses using if-else logic. What you will learn today. So by the end of today's class, you'll learn how to use lists in MIT App Inventor. You also learn how to check answers using if-else logic. And then you learn how to store and update scores and how to change questions dynamically. Right? Importance of the app. So this app helps students prepare for exams. It makes learning interactive or fun. It can be customized for any subject or topic. Okay, so you can, just like your normal quiz app that you download on Play Store or App Store. Okay, so it functions just like that. By the time you are done creating it, you can also decide to spice it up and you add different subjects to it to make it more fun. All right, so this app is quite interesting. Project kickoff. So now we'll be deviating. We're heading on to App Inventor. Let's see what we're creating. Okay, so this is how the quiz app is going to look like, right? And here is the block interface. So this block interface, okay, so you have so many blocks. You're also going to be the ones to add the questions and then the answers to it. So whosoever that will be playing the game is going to be like quiz game, would know what the back end looks like. So this is the back end of our project and this is the front end of it. Okay, so create a new project and then we'll start. We're going to name this project Quiz. I already have quiz app, so quiz. And you know one thing with MIT App Inventor, you don't give two projects the same name. It's not going to work. So that's why we're using quiz application. Let's just do it that way. And it's loading. Let's wait for it. Okay. So we have a new screen to create our project with. Now the first thing we'll be doing is to color our screen. So we want the background color of our screen to have a pink color. All right, and then the first thing we'll be doing is to get a title label. So get a label and position it here for our naming. Let's position the screen to be align horizontal center and then just leave it this way. And for the label, bold, font bold, check, and then the font size should be 30. Okay, see, it's now bold and big. So the next thing we'll be doing now is to change the text to my quiz app. My quiz app this way. So now the next thing we'll be getting now is another label. It should be the label 2, but for this label we're going to be leaving it empty. Okay, we're going to be leaving it empty. That's where our question will be displayed. Okay, this is it. So now the next thing we'll be getting is a text box where you can type in your answer. There's our text box, drag it to the stage. All right, so that is it for the text box. And then the next thing we are getting now is horizontal alignment. Horizontal arrangement, layout, horizontal arrangements, position here. So make it field parent, width field parent, and for height it should be auto, that's automatic. So now I'll be dragging two buttons to it. I'll drag the first button. Okay, here is the first button. So we're going to change the text of this button to submit. That'll be your submit button. When you're done answering your question, you can submit. And then we're going to change the text color to white. The background color should be green. And then let's see. We check for boldness, font bold, and then give it a width. Let's say width of 50%. Let's see if it's going to be okay. A width of 50%. Let's make it 40, 45. 45%. This way. Alright. So that's it. So the next thing we're doing now is to duplicate this button one. Button one is submit. So let's duplicate. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and now we have a duplicated button. So for the duplicated button, we're going to change the background color to blue, and then the text should be next. The first one is submit, so the second one should be next. So when you are done answering your question, you move on to the next one with this button right here. Alright, can you see that? And then the next thing we'll be getting now is a label. So this label is going to display whether your answer is right or wrong. So we're going to leave this label empty. If you get the answer correctly, it's going to display. It's just use, I'll leave it a black color, should be black. Black color. Save, and then for the font should be bold, and that is it. And the next thing we'll be getting now is notifier. Let's search for notifier. Is a non-visible component, so position is somewhere here. And now we'll head on to our block interface to start coding. Right, so the first thing we'll be doing now is to go to a variable, and then you get initialize variable. So for the first variable, the name will be given to it is questions. Variable questions. Initialize variable questions to create empty list. Create empty list, position it here. So now we're going to duplicate this. I duplicated the two of them. I don't need this one again, so I'll take it to the trash bin. So the second one is initialize global question number. Question number. We're going to set this to 1. You go to your maths and get this block right here. Change the 0 to 1. So the next thing we'll be doing now is to duplicate this again. Okay, so for this one, we're going to rename it to initialize global score to. Initialize, sorry, should be initialize score. Initialize score to 0. Okay, we're going to leave this at 0, and then the next thing we'll be getting again is another. So we're going to duplicate this again. Duplicate. And about 2 more. Duplicate. Okay, I'll position this one here. Take this one back the way it is, and I'll change the text of this one to initialize global question list. That's the content. Is where we're going to be question list. So we'll be adding our questions here. Okay, so now go to list and make a list. So we'll be adding up to 5 questions, and we have only 2 sockets here, so we're going to increase this socket to 5. Click here, add item 3, 4 and 5. Now we have 5 sockets. Okay, for our question. Now we're going to get an empty text block. Position it here, duplicate. Okay. Copy. QV. And now we have 5 blocks. So we're typing in our questions here. So the first question we're going to ask here is, what is the capital of France? Question mark. This is a question. Right. The second question is, which planet is known as the red planet? Who wrote Romeo and Juliet? So the next question is, which animal is known as the king of the jungle? Which animal is known as the king of which animal is known as the king of the jungle? So we can also decide to add the math question to it. The math question is, what is 5 plus 7? What is 5 plus 7? All right, and that is it for the question. So the next variable we'll be creating now is variable for answers. Okay, we've created questions, so now is for answers. So you're going to change this code to answer list. So initialize answer list to, you head back to your list, and then you get to make a list block, position it here, and then we increase this to 5 again. So add item, and add item. That is it. We have to, now we have 5 sockets. Okay, so you go to text and get an empty text block here, position it here, will be still here, it should be Now there are 5. So what is the capital of France? The answer is Paris. So which planet is known as the red planet? The answer is Mars. The third one, who wrote Romeo and Juliet? The answer is Shakespeare. The next one is, which animal is known as the king of the jungle? The answer is lion. And what is 5 plus 7? The answer is 2. Alright, so the next thing we'll be doing now is to start with other blocks. Okay, the next block we'll be adding here is when screen 1 initializes. So go to screen 1 and look for this block, when screen 1 initializes. When screen 1 initializes, what should happen? Go to label 2 and get set label 2.text2. Set label 2.text2, position it here. So then you go to list and look for select list item list. Here, select list item list and position it here. Okay, so now you go to question lists, get question lists. So scroll down, position it here. So the next one is get global question number. So we can duplicate this one and change it to question number. Question number right here. Okay, so the next thing we'll be doing now is to code for the button, right? So when button 1 is clicked, which is the submit button, you remember, right? When button 1 is clicked, what should happen? If then else, go to your controls. If then else, position it here. Now we're going to get this equals to block. Go to your maths. Okay, here's the equals to block and position it here. If then text box 1 dot text. Text box 1. Text box 1 dot text. Position in the first block. Okay. Now you go to lists and then you look for select list item, should be here. Okay, here. Select list item, position it inside here. No, it's broken. So let's go back and get it again. Select list item. Now and get global answer list. Just hover and then you see the drop down. Select global answer list. The next one is select get global question number in the index. Get global question number. No, we got set, so delete it and go back to get the gate. Or you can choose to duplicate this one here. Control C, Control position here, and then you change it to question number. Global question number. So the next block now is your label 3, which is the right or wrong label. So set label 3.text. Position it inside then, and then get a text box. an empty text box, and then correct. Alright, set the that text there to correct. Alright, remember it's an empty text, so it's going to display only when you answer the question correctly for this button. The next block will be getting, it said global score 2. So go to global score here and get this block and move down. Position under here, say global score 2. Go to your maths and look for the plus button. Position it here. Then get global score. You can just duplicate anyone here. Okay, I think I still have a duplicated one. Get global, position it here, the first loop here, and change it to score. Set global score to 1. That's for each question you answer correctly, the score will change by 1. It's going to add up. That's plus 1. So change 0 to 1. And then the next thing we'll be doing now is to get another else. That's if the person answer wrongly, what's going to happen. So click on label 3 again. Then set label 3 the text to just duplicate this. Wrong. Okay, so now the next thing we'll be doing now is to code for button 2. We're done coding for button 1, so let's code for button 2. So when button 2 is clicked, set global question number. Position it here. Now you go to your maths block and you look for this block here. Position it here. We're going to change this to a less than sign. Okay. Now you go back to your list and then you look for length of list. Position it here. Right? No, the length of this is supposed to be in the second box. So what we'll be adding here is, sorry, not this one yet. Get global question number. And then I'm sure now we'll go and then grab our if then else block, position it here. If then position this block here. Oh, for the second one, we're going to position this here. If question number is greater than this, then Then get global question list. So now we'll head on and grab our notifier. So call notifier show message dialog. Then position it here. Then we'll get a join block. So for this first one here, quiz finish, that's what we'll display. Your score is it's going to display your score there, and then get global score. Then you change this to score. So now we're going to duplicate this and set it below. Okay, now we'll change the text of this. The title of the notifier should be score. And then the button it should be okay. Now let's go for the else. So else, get label 2, set label 2.text to, set label 2.text to, select list item list. And the first test should be question list, and then the second one should be question number. And now we are done with the block arrangement. It's time to test our project using the emulator. No, we're not using emulator. Let's use AI companion. So we're going to scan now. It's loading. Let's wait for it. And there you go. We have it here on our screen. Right? Can you see that? So the first question is, what is the capital of France? The answer is Paris. Submit. You see displayed correct. Then next. And the next question came up. Which planet is known as the red planet? And the answer is Mars. Submit. And it said correct. So the next one is, who wrote Romeo and Juliet? The answer is Shakespeare. Correct. So next, which animal is known as the king of the jungle? The answer is lion. And then submit. Is it correct? So next, what is 5 plus 7? 5 plus 7 is 12, but I'm going to try to fill it. Let's see if it's going to display wrong. You see, wrong because I'm wrong. And 12. Now I'm correct. So next, that's the final question from what we have here. So next, you see score. Quiz finished. Your score is 5. I scored 5 because I answered 5 questions correctly. I'm going to click on OK. And that is it for the quiz app. This is how you can create a fun quiz app, and you can add any question you so wish. Okay. This is the end of today's class. I'll see you in our next class. Bye for now.